All right. So today, everybody, I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, that's me. I'm gonna go ahead and do a race tier list. And yeah, I know I've done these before, but there's been updates to the game, so the tier list might be a bit different. And also, it's 2022 now, so I feel like that's a good title for a YouTube video. Is putting 2022 in the title. Duh. So I'm gonna do this again because I feel like 2022 is gonna be a good year for DBOG. A good year for Dragon Ball games on Roblox, perhaps. A lot of games could come out. Updates to a lot of these games. Final Stand remaster is coming this year, so that'll be exciting. Um, let's start the tier list then. I'm gonna go in order of these this wiki right here, and my criteria, and also after I do this tier list, I'm not gonna spend too much time, hopefully, explaining them all. I'm gonna try to get through this as fast as I can. After I do this tier list, I'm also gonna do I'm gonna do a PvE section, and then I'm gonna do I'm gonna do PvP and then PvE. Okay? So, let's get that out of the way. Now, let's go ahead and look. This is PvP, of course, and my criterias for these races and how I'm gonna rank them based on each other and what rank they get is how good their stats are, how good their legend how good their highest form is, like what multiplier their highest form is, and their race ability. I'm gonna be going over all of those, right? So, again, how good their stats are, how good their race ability is, and how good their transformation is. So, when the new update comes out and hybrid Saiyans get a legend form and it's like the best form in the game, I don't know, let's just say, right? For example, then hybrids, well, then this list would be outdated and I would make a new list, right? But then, does that make sense to everybody? All right, sweet. So, we're going to start with human. Humans have one in everything, and they have a faster max power charge ability, and their highest form is 3 times. And let me just double check that is, yeah, okay. So, their highest form is only 3 times boost. That's not the best. Um, I think personally, and again, this race is my opinion. This is not factual or anything. This is not official. All the races, I will say this right now, that every race in the game except for one is like about equal with each other, if that makes sense. Like it's very close. There's no significant margin, I would say. Um, with most of these races, right? There's a couple differences, but most of these races are quite similar to each other. Okay. So back to human. Um, I like these stats because you can be very diverse with whatever you want to do, and this ability is quite good. If it's my choice, I feel like for this ability you would want to go with key damage, because I just feel like key ultimates are usually like better damage than melee. But then again, melee has good melee ultimates now too, like burning shoot, right? So honestly, if you could do whatever you want with it, um, very diverse race. I like humans, Humans are not horrible. I'm gonna put them in B tier for now. I might change it based on some other things. Oh wait, that's not human. There, that's human. B tier for now. I might change it based on where I want to put other races. But yeah, that's my thought process for human, right? Not a horrible race at all. Let's move on. Saiyan is next. So Saiyans, their stats are 0.95 health, 0.9 agility, 0.95 key control, 1.1 physical damage, 1.1 key damage. I like these stats a lot. Um, these could be better, but they could also be a lot worse. The thing with Saiyans is they don't really have a super horrible stat. Really, like agility is their closest like thing to a bad stat, and like it's fine. How it is, right? I like how Saiyans are built, to be honest. And LSSJ here is a 3.25 multiplier, and their race ability doubles melee and ki blast damage when health is red. basic, by the way. So melee damage like M1s, M2s, or Q and E's, right? And then Ki Blasts, I think F in this game is the Ki Blast, right? Um, so yeah, that's what doubles. This is a really good race ability. I don't give a shit what other people will tell you. This is a good race ability. Um, the people who say that this race ability is bad, they have 300 health and they think that's viable. No. I have 800 health right now, closer to 900 I think, and that's because my build isn't done at all. I have, when I'm done, ideally around 1,000 health. And 1,000 health is honestly a good amount in this current meta. I think that's a really good amount. Like anywhere like 800 is like bare minimum, I would say, right? Like you should have 800 health. Um at least, right? Like that's how it is really. Like if you have less than that, like you get torn through. And then people will be like, "Oh, but my build is a glass cannon build." And it's like, "Well, glass cannon builds only really work if you're like insanely good at the game and you're facing somebody that's significantly better than you. Or no, sorry, that you're significantly better than. But then if you're significantly better than them, your race doesn't matter anyway cuz you will win no matter what. In theory, I'm saying that let's look at it if you're 50-50 with someone, right? That's sort of what I mean in PvP. Like whenever I'm stating in a PvP scenario, you're facing yourself basically, let's just say, right? Um you're going to be doing the same amount of damage to them as they are to you as a glass cannon build, rendering your whole build useless, might I add. So, that's why I'm not a huge fan of glass cannon builds. They're only really viable if you're significantly stronger than the person you're facing. Um, so yeah, I like Saiyans as a race a lot. I think they're really good. Their legend form is really good. Their stats are really good. I love how they have equal melee and ki because honestly, in this meta right now, both are very good. Both melee and ki. You want to have both melee and ki. Melee because most players use melee, and that's the best way to drain someone's health quickly and advance through a fight quickly. And ki damage is just really strong, and it's good to have. So that's why I like Saiyans, because if you can have a high melee damage, as well as a decent amount of ki damage, like 300, 400, 500 ki damage, that's really going to help you considering how strong ki moves are right now. So Saiyans, I might change this later. In fact, I don't know, right? I'm going to put them in A tier for now. I feel like Saiyans are an A tier race in DBOG. Next, Half Saiyans. So Half Saiyans have the exact same stats as normal Saiyans. In my opinion, I feel like they should make it so that pure Saiyans have 0.95 agility, and Half Saiyans have 0.95 ki control. That's how I think, right? Just to differentiate them a little bit, so that like these guys would have 0.9 agility, and then main Saiyans would have 0.95, and then main Saiyans would have 0.9 ki control, and Half Saiyans would have 0.95 ki control. That's in my opinion, right? That's how it should be, but it's not. But anyway, so the stats are obviously good, right? Their ability is arguably better than Saiyans. I think it is better. Honestly, it probably is way better, right? The problem is their legend form is non-existent, so they're stuck with Super Saiyan 3. And the bug where you could keep your legend form, I believe, is fixed. I saw that somewhere where you can't keep your legend form when you switch races anymore. So now that I got that out of the way, I feel like Half Saiyan's ability is honestly better, right? I genuinely do. The problem is their transformation. It's not gonna work for me, pal. Best I can do is B tier, right? Um, I feel like I'm the only person in this game that actually considers the transformation multipliers as a genuine argument for races for some reason. Because people will say, oh, the percentage is not gonna help you if you're just good. It's like, sure, but that's not the discussion. Being good is not what we're discussing here. It's about which race is gonna give you the best advantage, not how good you are, you morons. So, um, yeah, I'm putting Half-Saiyans at B. Strictly, I think they're better than humans, by the way. Um, strictly because of their form. Remember, right now Saiyans have the edge. Let's go to Namekians. So Namekian's ability, regeneration. Their health is 1.05, 0.9 agility, 1.1 key control, 0.9 physical damage, and 105 key damage. Namekians is one of the only races in the game where their stats actually make fucking sense. They have low agility and physical damage and high key control and key damage. And their race ability is regen. And their legend form is mid. Unfortunately. This is their legend form. It is mid. This is good. So, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't really say much else different. What does their regen do? Regains 25% of health and 50% key and stamina. The animation lasts for 2 seconds and has a 2-minute cooldown. In my opinion, fights aren't necessarily gonna go long enough to where you're gonna use the 2-minute cooldown. But then you could say the argument, oh, but you know, ranked matches is like a 5-minute cooldown, right? Or a 5-minute time limit, so we can assume matches are around 3 minutes or 4 minutes, right? That's a fair argument. But here's the thing: you're not gonna round start hit your regen. You need to wait for your health to for you to need to use the regen. Because why would you just use it straight up at the start? You're gonna wait until your health's around 50% or 70% and then use the regen, right? And then you have to wait 2 minutes. So that's the thing. That could take a minute or two to get to that point. So, their ability, you're only going to be able to use it about once in a fight if you get to use it once in a fight. Which, I mean, once in a fight will still give you a large advantage. So I'm putting Namekian, like, right up there with, like, Half-Saiyan right now, right? If Namekians had a good form, I would probably put them in A tier. I think Namekians are quite good. Their stats are good. Really good, actually. These are good stats, right? So, again, if it had a good form, I feel like it would be high up there. Um, and okay, so let me just get something straight, because I know a lot of people are gonna be mad at me for like including transformation multipliers in this as like a reason to put these guys higher or lower. If you disagree with that, sure. Okay, that's your opinion. In my opinion, the transformation multiplier matters more than what other people think, I guess. So if you disagree that much about the transformation multiplier, then just in your head do this and you're good. Okay? Like just chill. Don't get mad, right? Just in your head and your mental note do that or something. I don't know. Okay? Sure. All right, are we straight? All right, Namekians are good. Frost demons. Frost demons actually got a buff. Their metal cooler form got buffed, which is really good. I fought so hard. Every time I talked about this form, I said it was stupid. I said it was dumb. That it was weaker than Final Form Cooler. So it got buffed. I did something right, thank you. Well, it probably wasn't me single-handedly, you know, but I definitely brought a lot of attention to this in my videos. So they have a good form, right? They have a good race ability, faster key charge. I like this as a race ability, especially since they are a key damage race. One problem is they have good key damage and nothing else is really good for them. Their agility is good, but they're a key damage race. Why? Why isn't their key control just good? It makes no sense to me. Um, it just makes no sense to me, right? So, honestly, I think their stats are kind of mid. They have insanely high key damage, which is good, right? But that's where it ends, you know. Their key control is mid. And their health is okay, right? I don't consider this horrible health, right? So for Frost Demons, Freezer Race, I'm gonna go ahead and put them, can you guess, in the highest tier of B tier. Because, well, they have the highest form. I just think they're... Actually, yeah, I'm gonna keep them here. Like, they're borderline A tier. I just, you know, demons. So they have no drain from blocking. That is their race ability. 1.05 health, 0.95 agility, 0.9 key control, 1.1 physical damage, 1.1 key damage. Their stats are straight up just better than Saiyans. Right? I feel like I said this before. Demons just straight up have better stats than Saiyans do. That's just the truth. They straight up just have better stats. Their race ability, this is, I feel like a lot of people overrate this. This is definitely a good ability. I just don't think it's insane, right? And then their highest form, Phantom Demon, is a 3 times boost, and it is a giant form, so you're forced to play a certain way with it. And correct me if I am wrong, I think it got nerfed heavily, and that it's not as insanely OP as it was before. Because before, it was insanely OP, but it got nerfed, I think. Originally had the ability to use evasive skills. Oh yeah, no, this is not it. But yeah, in my opinion, if we're gonna be basing the demon form, the main demon form is this form right here, to the Janemba form. In my opinion, this should be the legend form. This is way cooler than this is, but I digress. So demons, good race ability, good stats, mid form. Can you guess where they're gonna go? Right here. By the way, don't take this order too seriously. They're all in B tier. It's not super important where they're at in B tier, like, right? Like, this isn't, like, I'm not actually, like, saying, for example, that Frost Demon is better than Demon, or, like, if I did this, I'm not really saying Demon is better than Frost Demon, right? They're just B tier, right? Okay, so, moving on from Demon, Yardradian. Yardradians are weird. So, they have faster key gain when hitting enemies. This is insane. This gives you so much key damage, or key. Another thing is that their key damage is pretty high, and their key control is good. It's 1. And their health is 1, that's good. Their agility is 1.1, that's good. These are really good stats. For this ability too, these are good stats. The only problem is I feel like you have to go like a mixed bag here with damage. You have to do a little bit of physical damage, I feel, because of their ability when you have to hit them to gain ki faster, right? But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I feel like with the Yardradians, you have to be very good to be very good with a Yardrat, right? You have to be a good player. Because you have to be able to do both melee and ki damage, right? Their form is a 3.25 multiplier. Honestly, if you're really good with Yardrat, I think it can be an A tier race. Like, if you're really good with it. Right? That's what I think. Yeah. I'm probably gonna get shit for this, but I think if you're really good with Yardrat, you can make this shit work. Like, really well. And dominate people. But if you're worse with it, then I feel like it goes down to B tier. Moving on. Android. So, Android's auto key regeneration is actually insane. It is the most broken race ability in the game, in my opinion. Their stats, not the greatest. In fact, really bad. um, their health is pretty bad. Only their agility and key control are good, and they're really good. And then their damage sucks. Now, the reason why androids are so OP is you do all key damage, or all key control, or like a lot of key control, I mean, a lot of key damage, and a lot of agility. And like you have okay health, right? And then like this is one of the only races where it's okay to not have that much health, I feel. Because you just have so much like key control, a decent amount of agility, which is where this stat comes in so that you can run away. You have so much key control to the point where you can just spam moves over and over with the auto key regen always regenning you. And then you have your key damage stat just up so high. And androids are just so OP. And to make matters worse, they have a 3.25 times form. So I'm going to put android into S tier, which I'm going to change to Z tier because it's Dragon Ball Z, get it? Yeah. Androids are just insane, right? Don't know what else much to say. Their auto key regen is just too good, right? If you don't believe me, fight Gray. The way Gray uses this, and the funny thing is Gray is generous with this too. Gray is literally just generous with this too. Like he could be so much worse with this. This is insane, right? Moving on from Android, we go to Bio Android. It's not getting much better. The only good part about this is that they only have a 3 times form, which again is technically bad. Ultimate evolution, right? Only 3 times. Their stats, they have insanely good health, good key control, and their damage is not bad. It's just sort of mid, right? Like it's just okay. Feel like for Bio Android, all you have to do is you do like 2k health, you have a decent amount of key control, and then like you put the rest into like damage. And as long as you have just a little bit of agility, you put the rest in the key damage, and then you're just sitting there. You just like wait for people to try to come to you, and you use a blast, and it just fucking does all their health. And you just stand still and wait for them to attack you, and you just regen and regen and regen. Their regen is 1% HP per second. So you just sit there for 5 seconds, and it's 5% of your HP. Which, I mean, doesn't sound like a lot, but like, it'll just add up, right? When he made it 2%, dude, it was over. Like, it was just like undisputed, bios are just the best. But now it's at least like kind of reasonable. In my opinion, what Sonny needs to do is he needs to change how Majins and bio androids work with their stats, make their health incredibly low. And yes, you could say that doesn't make sense because of Cell and Boo, because they had, you know, they were almost indestructible. And it's like, well, yeah, they were almost indestructible because of their regen, right? Boo got obliterated several times. He just was able to regen it. Cell also got obliterated several times. He just was able to regen it. That's why their health shouldn't be so high, but their regen is there, right? So I think you take away a lot of this health, you put it into agility and some damage, maybe key control too. Like you just take away a lot of this health, right? I feel like that would be much better than whatchamacallit, right? Having a high health stat. But yeah, Cell Race is Z tier. Moving on. Kai's. I don't want to talk about this too much. Their race ability sucks. Their stats suck. And their form is okay. Kai is by far the worst race in the game. So it goes in the F tier. Because it sucks. It is the worst race in the game. And I feel like if there's a clear worst race in the game, there should just be no reason to have it anywhere near these other races. Don't choose Kai. It sucks. Their stats are bad. This sucks. Yeah. Anyway. Majin. Back to the good shit, boy. Their race ability is super regeneration and absorption. They, whatchamacallit, their regen, let me find it. They have 3-minute cooldown, which is fine, right? 50% of their health, 25% of ki and stamina. 4 seconds, which again is not insanely easy to pull off in PvP, but if you hit a death chaser on someone, you're going to be able to do it. Or if you counter someone, you're going to be able to do it, right? You will. Not always will you be able to, but you will be able to, if you're like good and able to make that sort of whatchamacallit, advantage, right, for you. This is insane, by the way. There's me, by the way, so this race automatically gets a Z tier. But their form is really good. Really, really good. Their stats, they have high health, which is good. They have high agility, which is good. Ki control, whatever. Physical damage, whatever. They have good ki damage. These are all like the recipe for disaster. And in a good way for Majins, because you're able to run away if you need to regen. In my opinion, though, I feel like you shouldn't be running away to regen. You should be using a move to knock people away to regen. With Majins, I feel like you could definitely pull off being aggressive, right? That could definitely work out for you. But you at the same time, you just don't need to be aggressive. If you're in an open world fight, no time limit, you just run away and you do this. Just as many times as you need to. And you just win. You just win. Right? Your opponent has to be insanely good. And remember, I'm basing this based on good player versus good player, right? You're about even with the person you're facing. So yeah, Majins. Oh yeah, forgot to mention absorption is insanely OP. You can stack absorption now with forms. So yeah, Majins are just the goddesses or gods of the game, right? Insane. Kanasan. Let's look at this. Faster stamina regen. This is actually quite impressive now. If you didn't know, there's a bug in the game for the entire game's existence until recently that made their whatchamacallit, their race ability just straight up not work. Their stats are good. These are really good melee stats. And their ability really helps melee players. Like, really, really helps melee players. Not to mention... Oh, their form sucks. Never mind. But they have a 3 times form, whatever, right? These are really good. Like, this is insane. Like, I feel like if their form was good, they would just be Z tier based off of just their stats are good and their ability is good alone. Right? Like, nothing... Because all these guys are OP, right? But just, like, in the hands of a good... And again, I'm basing this, like, good player versus good player, like, is what I'm basing it off of. Like, and in that, like, sort of idea, in the hands of a good player, Kanasans are just nuts. They're the fish people race. And they are freaking good. I'm putting them up here. The only reason I'm not putting them in Z tier is... What the fuck did I do? What the fuck did I do? What? I'm so confused right now. What just happened? Can I fix this? Okay, I fixed it. The only reason I'm not putting them in Z tier, straight up, is because these guys are just OP. Kanasan's not OP, they're just insanely good, right? Like, when I mean OP, you don't have to be good with these 3 races to just dominate in PvP, right? You just don't have to be that insane to catch up, right? Um, yeah, that's just straight up how it is. Um, moving on. Bojacks. Bojacks are very good. They always have been. Their race ability got nerfed. That does not mean that they are shit now. So many people saw them get nerfed and like, oh, they're shit now. No. This is really good. This ability. And guess what? Their stats are also good. Look at their health. Their health is insane. Their melee damage is insane. If their agility on top of it was insane, they would straight up just be Z tier. I'm not gonna put them in Z tier. They are at the fucking pinnacle of A tier though. Like, and when I say pinnacle, they are at the pinnacle of A tier. I would say they're probably better than Saiyans. Saiyans, I feel people underrate their race ability too much. I feel like Saiyan's race ability is genuinely just really fucking good, and people underrate it. Um, Bojack's form, by the way, 3.25. I forgot if I mentioned it or not. Saiyan's race ability is deadass just really good. In all of my experience of playing the game, whenever I'm PvPing, I go into red health. Like, it's genuinely a strategy to watch your defense bars and keep your defense bars high, because if you take damage, it's fine as long as your opponent isn't a glass cannon build. And if your opponent's damage is not that good, for example, it's genuinely a viable fucking strategy to just play defensively and smart as a Saiyan, keep your defense bars around 4, 5, and 3, and just straight up lose health, but keeping your defense bars high in turn, get into red health, and just dominate your opponent with that ability, and just neutralize their whole build. Because if they don't have a lot of damage, they have a lot of health. And guess what goes through a lot of health? The goddamn Saiyan race ability. So yeah, Saiyans, their race ability is so underrated, in my opinion. Like, people downplay it so hard, and I'm just not here for it. I am not here for the Saiyan race downplay. Um, so yeah, Bojacks, I would say, arguably better than Saiyans. That's why they're at the pinnacle of A tier. Just honestly, all these races are at the pinnacle of A tier, to be honest. Like, B tier, these races are not bad. All of these races are really good. Okay? Like, I'm just, like, in reality, this should be the A tier. I did it again. Okay. In reality, B should be the A tier, A should just be S tier, or Z tier, and then Z tier should just be the unfair tier. Like, the nerf tier. Like, please. And then the last race we're gonna look at is Tuffle. Tuffles, I see a downplay on their ability too, honestly. Their stats, I genuinely think, are dead ass the worst stats in the game though. Well, other than Kai. Like, these stats suck, in my opinion. Their ability is really good. If you are not playing smart against a Tuffle, they're gonna catch you lacking. Unfortunately, I don't think Tuffles are anywhere near as good as, like, these races up here. So I'm going to put them in the low B tier. They're not as bad as Kai's, but I feel like they're the worst race out of all these. Now, again, except for Kai, of course. But again, if you are facing a Tuffle, you have to be careful of this. If you get caught lacking with this, and you're a melee build, it's over for you. Even if you're a key build, it's over for you if you get caught lacking. Because guess what? This Tuffle is going to fucking make sure that you are not going to be able to use your supers. You're not going to be able to vanish too much. You're not going to be able to run away. They're going to fucking get you. It happened to me before. I got caught in 4K by a Tuffle before, and it was embarrassing. Because, like, I was way better than the guy I was facing. But he just straight up caught me in 4K with that ability. So, yeah. This video has gone on too long. Way too long for me to make a, like, part 2 instantly right here in this video for PvE. But this is my PvP race tier list. Let me know what you guys think. Again, don't be super toxic. This is my opinion. And if you don't agree with the transformation thing, then just ignore it. but this is my opinion. Transformation multipliers matter, so this is my tier list, right? Um, I'll make a PvE tier list too. But yeah, until then, let me know what you guys think, and Happy New Year. Alright, so after talking with people a little bit, I have decided that after the bio nerf, I still feel like they are very, very strong, but I don't know if they're considered Z tier anymore. I'm gonna bump them down to A tier. I don't know how I'd compare these races, right? But personally, after talking with other people, with Gray and Vegito specifically, I just feel like bios after their nerf, because they did get nerfed right to the 1%. You literally have to have like 2k health with them, or the race is mid. So like that by default makes their other stats lower, which in turn, right? It's like a snowball effect going downhill. It's just well, no, that'd be the opposite, because the snowball going downhill gets bigger, and that would mean better. You guys know what I mean. It gets, problem creates other problems. Um, bios are gonna be A tier, and yeah, that's my list.